What I've done is taken some of the pieces out of each of these and cut little chunks out that I'm going to use for pockets now in here. My thought is we're going to put 2 small pockets on the inside of this. I'm going to put a longer belly band up here, and you'll see why, what I plan to do with that. And then I have kind of a regular pocket here. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue the pockets down. And so we created this yesterday. And there was one thing I wanted to add to it, which was I used another freebie, which is this set, and I've already cut out a bunch of them in the slightly smaller size. We have the stickers left over, and we have some scrap paper, and then we have the cardstock that we had left as well. I just wanted to glue this piece onto the cover because I thought because it's for a friend, and I thought that was perfect. So I'm going to grab a little bit of glue, and we're going to just glue this to the front. And then we're going to get to a different fun part. I won't say it's more fun than making the folio, because I think different people like different things, and for me, I enjoy it all. Let me make sure I get enough glue. There we go. All right, now I have enough glue. Ooh, let's see if I can do this without dropping it and fat fingering it. So we're just adding that little word right there. And it's really interesting how just one little thing can add so much more. So to go over some of the stuff I have again, I have the cardstock that's left over from creating this. I have some of the leftover, this was just printed onto plain paper, and we will use that. I have stickers. I have these I cut out onto cardstock as well. I wanted something with a little more heft to it. I have this ribbon, which is from Hobby Lobby. I also have some of this gorgeous pink ribbon. And so we're going to set this aside and play with a couple of different things. Now, the first thing I want to do is, out of what I have here, I want to cut 2 tags. One will be a tall tag, and one will be just kind of more of a medium-sized tag. And I'm grabbing I bought this heavy duty, this is a Fiskars cutting machine. I was really tired. I had the one that was really inexpensive. I was really tired though of not being able to read anything. This will cut through all kinds of stuff. So to me, that is way cool. Let's see, where do I want to do this? So 3 inches is actually a really good size, but looking at where that's going to cut off the rows, I think I'm going to make this one just a little bit wider. Maybe we'll cut it off about right there. So then we're not getting all of this red, and that will make a beautiful tall tag because now we have the red rose on it. Love that. And then I have this piece here. I'm going to cut this one as well, and we'll make another tall tag out of it. Wait, let's go this way. Again, I want it to be about 3 inches wide. That's going to cut right through that butterfly. So here's an idea. I think what I'm going to do is cut this 1 inch wide. Let's see what that gets us, because this can be some tickets we're going to make in a bit. Now let's see where I am. If I cut that there, does this get the whole butterfly? It does. All right, perfect. And I know it's cutting into different parts, but that's okay. We will use parts. So what we have here, I have a little 1-inch strip, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do with that later. I am simply going to go ahead and neaten this up, and voila, we have a journaling card. So I'm going to go ahead and make journaling cards out of the rest of these pieces. And now we have a couple of different things. So we have 2 slightly larger journal cards. We have a smaller journal card. We have 2 very small journal cards, and we have 2 tags. Now for the tags, I'm terrible at getting angles and punching the holes. So I'm going to grab my We Are Memory Keepers tag maker and use that. So I have this We Are Memory Keepers tag maker, and I've lost the cutting device. I have no idea where that is. However, I am not going to let that deter me one bit. And I am just going to use a straight edge. Let's see, do I want that? I'm going to try it here on the D part first and see if I like that. We may cut a little bit more off, but I figure it's better to err on the side of caution. I like that. We're going to go with that. And then where is my other one? This is my other tag. So I admire people who can find the middle of things easily and just eyeball it. I am not one of those people. So by being able to line it up between 2 parts and I punch a hole, then I know I have it centered, and if I need to go back or want to go back and make a bigger hole, I can. For the 2 tags, I'm going to just focus right now on the 2 tags. We'll come back to these in a little bit. So we have these 2, and they're already very pretty by themselves, but some things that can really just elevate a tag can be adding a little bit of lace to the bottom. And one of the things I've started doing is adding lace under, or adding ribbon under the lace so that it peeks through. And that is really pretty. We also have some different things like this that we could add, which will stand out. And if we put some things behind it, that will also help that stand out. And then we have this. Oh, perfect. I know what we're going to do. So we can layer this up with a piece of maybe this, and this will get torn. Oh, I love this idea. So sometimes we put other things behind it, maybe a piece of something with texture, so fabric or another piece of lace or something like that. But sometimes just a little piece of paper will help that stand out. So I'm going to grab my inker and ink it around it again. So we're going to, let's glue this to this first, and then we'll glue the whole thing down. I don't know that it really matters what order you do things in, as long as you get them on whatever it is you're doing. All right, so that looks good about right there. And then we're going to put glue on the whole back edge of this and stick this to this tag right about there. And I don't want it centered, so that looks really good. So now we have a tag that we have kind of off-centered and everything. And then last but not least, one of the things we may do is put a wee bit of just this ribbon at the top. Oh, that is so pretty. We're going to do that. There's a couple of different ways this can be done, and I don't know that there's a right way or a wrong way. I'm going to just even this up so that it's like that. And what I'm going to do is I usually take it about like that, and then I staple it. So let me grab my Tim Holtz tiny puncher. So what I have is this Tim Holtz tiny stapler, and I like it because with the smaller staples it looks a little bit more delicate. So I am just going to center this up using this little hole as a guide. That way I know I've got it more or less in the middle, and then I simply run a staple through it, and that gives it a little bit of a vintage feel to it. We're going to do the same thing for this one. And I feel like this just needs to stay rather simple. I'm going to simply glue this part down right here, and we'll add one of the very small pink butterflies right there. Perfect. All right, so we're going to add that to the pile. We are going to grab this one, which is kind of a medium-sized one. And this one, I think I am going to go ahead and we'll put a wee bit of lace on this as well. Maybe this time we don't put the pink under it though, so everything shows through. I kind of like that idea. Let's do that. We're going to put a wee bit of lace on this, and then we'll layer a few things up and call that good. And let's get that on there. So now you can actually see through the lace, which is helpful. And I love this. The earth has music for those who will listen. Let's see, should it go here or should it go here? I'm kind of digging it over on that side. Let's put that on here as well. Now, I always love to have it sticking off, but I think this time I'm going to put it right down like that. And then we can put a larger butterfly maybe up here. I don't want to cover the rows. Oh, you know what? We're going to put it right there. That's where sometimes playing around with things is really helpful, because then it becomes very clear that, oh, that needs to go right there. And so we're going to put this butterfly right here in the middle. So now we have another card. We have 2 more journal cards left. And these are really pretty just by themselves. I think one of the things I'm going to do, I may just leave these. Sometimes less is more. And I have this punch that I used for the edge of this right here. I'm going to simply punch the corners on this. So I feel like these are just gorgeous the way they are, and I'm going to just leave them. So now we have this side done. We need to create something a little bit smaller for this side, and that's where these pieces will come in. So we're going to make some tickets here, and maybe just I'll cut this in half, and these will be some smaller journaling cards. Let's see where the middle is on this. So this is 5 inches, so about 2.5 is about right there. And let's see, do we want to put a word on this? No, that's too much. But we might put a rose and a butterfly. There we go. So it brings back the pink back into it. So I'm just going to put a butterfly there and maybe a rose in the middle of this one. Just as Nick the Booksmith likes to say, I'm just going to do it, man. Just going to do it. All right, and we have those. We'll put one in each pocket. And then we can also create tickets. Now, tickets are usually 2 inches long, and this is 6 inches. So we should be able to get 3 tickets out of this. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to actually grab a whatever this is called. I'm going to mark these out at the 2-inch mark. Oh, no, there we go. We're going to take this at the 2-inch mark, 1, and then I'm going to fold that over just so I can get in there. And the 2-inch mark again. And then at the 4-inch mark, just so that I can make a cut. So before we actually cut these, we now have these marks on here, and I'm going to take just a regular hole punch. Oops, dropping things. Just a regular hole punch like this, and we're going to do the corners. So I do it upside down so I can actually see what I'm doing. I like to open this part if I can do it. Well, no, we'll just go this way. All right. So I'm just going to do the corners like that. And then I think I'm going to grab, I also have a different hole punch. It's this one by We Are Memory Keepers, and I think the 3/16 is the same size. It is. And so now I can line this up. Now I'm getting it in the middle. There we go. And then we just cut these out like this. So these are a little bit smaller, but that's okay. You can use either punch. I'm trying to find that other piece right there. We don't want it more than halfway. And then we're going to do this piece here as well. And we just go back around and do the other sides as well. So if you didn't know this little trick, now you do. And line that up and line this one up. So you have these pieces, and now you can cut them apart with a pair of scissors Or you could use a little Tim Holtz thing that actually gives it more of a torn look. Let me grab that. So the other thing, this is really tiny. This is this Tim Holtz Tonic Studios, and it's actually a blade that cuts things. So they look like they're part of a, well, they look like they've been torn, or it's a, I can't think of the name of this, but you do it across once and it just cuts right through. And then when you tear them apart, let's see, did I cut those two? I did. So now you can pull them apart and they'll look, well, they just look torn. Well, that's okay. We're just going to make them look torn. I guess I should have cut them. So I guess maybe you have to run it over it a couple of times. But anyway, that is that. I am going to go ahead and ink these real quick. And then we only have one more thing to make for this, and we'll be done. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe we should put something on these tickets instead of just leaving them plain. I think we will. All right, let's throw. So for this last part, I want to make a stack of papers that can go in here, kind of a scrap pad, if you will. And this piece will fit behind all of this. So that's going to be the backing. It's just a piece of the leftover card from this or some other project, I'm not sure which. And what I've done is I've created a stack of papers that are no wider than 3 inches and no longer than 7.5 inches. I am simply going to kind of match these up a little bit. Actually, no, we want them kind of off center. I take that back. But they'll all end up, so hang on a second. I'm doing this, there we go. So you can see that it is a real variety of papers that I'm putting in this stack. And some are wider than others, some are narrower than others, and that's okay, because in the end, we are simply going to put a staple through these in 2 different places just to make sure everything is caught. But I want this end to be even before I do anything. So even when we get down to the end here, I've got some avocado dyed paper. This is just some plain vellum that I had lying around. And this is actually coffee dyed parchment paper that I have. And so now that I have all of that, I'm going to simply grab a regular plain old stapler and staple it a little bit close to the top in 2 places, just like that. And then what we're going to do is cover those staples on the back with a piece like that. And on the front, I'm going to use just a piece of this and we'll probably wrap it around. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit of glue across the top here. Probably could have stapled the whole thing through this because I'm going to wrap some of this, but that's okay. I just wanted to get that piece there. And then we're going to glue the whole thing together with a piece of paper. Again, this just needs to be 3 inches long. And I will cut this as wide as the widest piece is on here, a little bit wider. And we're simply going to glue this around the end here. So I want to go about to the middle and wrap this around like that. And that will give it more of a finished look. So I'm going to simply add some glue to this piece now, both sides, because we're going to glue the whole thing together. grab all of this with the back piece included. There we go. And I'm just going to press this together now. And that way, I know that it's all going to be held together. And we have our backing, and so that now will slide right down into the piece that's going to hold it. And now we have our whole thing. And I'm thinking I'm going to glue a butterfly there. Now these are stickers, but I am going to simply add a little bit of glue to the back so that it holds and is on this corner like this. There we go. So now I have that, and this is all of these scrap papers that go in the middle. So let's take a look real quick at the whole journal. So now we're done with this folio for my friend. Let's take one last look at it. You can see that it's a trifold, and what we've done is we used all of the Artymaze freebies that go with her July challenge. So this was for her July challenge. We've added some butterfly stickers, so I reduced the size of the original stickers so that they were a little bit smaller. We've added the word friendship here because it is for my friend, and there's some fabric behind this as well. I've used this avocado dyed seam binding as a closure, and on the back you will see that we added just a bit of lace again with that fabric under it, as well as 3 butterflies. And when we open this up, there is a grommet here, a rose gold grommet that I've used to attach the ribbon with. And again, we did some fabric with the lace over it here, a rose and a butterfly, and there's stitching around each of these different sections. So going left to right, the left side has all of basically the tickets, or not tickets, these have all of the journaling cards and tags that we made with all of the leftover pieces. So we have 2 smaller tags, and then we have this stack of other sized tags basically. So this one, oh, I forgot to go back and read these. So this one says, listen to silence, it has so much to say. This one says, the earth has music for those who will listen. Then we left these 2 just plain. They were really pretty just the way they were, and we decided to leave those plain. I'm speaking in the royal we here. We have 2 tags, and this one has the pink ribbon that we put under it that actually matches the color of this butterfly that I'm absolutely obsessed with. And I'm not sure if this is pronounced aesthet or aesthete, almost like athlete. And it means someone with deep sensitivity to the beauty of art or nature. And this one says, at some point in life, the world's beauty becomes enough. And again, we did the pink satin ribbon underneath of this lace. Then on this side, we created a scrap pad, and this was 3 inches long by 7.5 inches tall. And this is just full of all kinds of just different papers, some avocado dyed, some leftovers, dyed tracing paper. There's even down in here some vellum, and this is actually a piece of coffee dyed, oh, I forget what it's called, but it's a very, very nice paper. All right, last but not least, we have our tiny pockets that have our tiny pieces in them. So we have a ticket, another ticket, and a very small journaling card. And on this side, we have another small journaling card and another ticket. So that is our folio that we made over the course of 2 videos. I hope you've enjoyed either making it with me or watching me make it, and I hope I've inspired you to be creative today.